Welcome back to another episode of the Rational Football League show. My name's Emmett. I'm here with my co-host, Brendyn Ford.
Yo, what's up?
You guys can check us out on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. We post weekly, and our segments come out twice a week as well. But let's hop right into this with the news of the week. Start with a Thursday Night Football recap. So the Broncos took on the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium. We saw a lot of Taylor Swift. The Kansas City Chiefs ended up winning that game in a slugfest 19-8. Just awful watch for both offenses. Patrick Mahomes went 30 of 40 with 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Travis Kelce had 9 catches for 124 yards. Looked good coming off that ankle injury.
Oh, yeah.
And Russell Wilson went 13 of 22 for 95 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and he took 4 sacks. What are your takes from that game, B?
My takes, so the Chiefs' offense struggled a lot more with what I thought they would. I mean, they still won by, 11 points, covered like the spread, but it didn't look like a very smooth offense, which is very surprising. I heard this, I mean, being a Bears fan, we saw the Broncos. I mean, their defense is not that good. The fact that they struggled against the Broncos, maybe it's because one of those divisional games, divisional opponents kind of play each other tougher, I guess. But that Chiefs defense is pretty good. And it's kind of weird to say, is the Chiefs defense the strength of that team this year? Are they stronger than the offense is right now? So that's kind of the question I had watching the game. That's pretty much was it. I know the Broncos are not good. They might be tanking now. I don't know, but those are kind of my first thoughts. It's okay, the Broncos are horrible on both sides of the football. So the defense was okay. And then what's going on with that Chiefs offense?
Yeah. For the Broncos, I know they're going to be doing a fire sale here now, or they already started doing it. So there's really not a whole lot to say about that. But yeah, for the Chiefs, I mean, I've seen people mention hey, this might be the best Chiefs defense they've had since Patrick Mahomes got there. And it feels like week in and week out, they're really proving it. That is a tough defense. And I don't think it's wrong to say that might be the strength of the team this year. Their offense, the receivers haven't really shown up yet. I think they were kind of hoping and betting on a couple of young guys to develop and build a good rapport with Patrick, and I just don't think they have yet.
Right.
Kelce seems to be their only offensive weapon right now.
The only one, dude.
Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco doesn't seem like he's really done a whole lot. I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and stat watch and be like, oh, yeah, see, he's got this. But, I mean, I just feel like we really haven't heard much from their run game. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how far they can actually go in the postseason with that defense and Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes still had 300 yards. So, I mean, he's playing well. Yeah, I know he had the one pick, and then there's another pick that was it was
holding, right, or something like that. Yeah,
passing. I think it was pass interference or something. But
yeah,
so
that defense is good, man.
Yeah. I mean, he still looks like Patrick to me. So, but let's move on to the rest of the news of the week around the league. Deshaun Watson and the Browns are going to be taking on the 49ers this weekend, but Deshaun Watson will not be there. He's going to miss a few weeks with a deep strain-like contusion in his rotator cuff, which is a very odd situation because I know he was warming up before the game last week, and then last minute was like, not going to do it. And then this week, he was at practice the first day, and then was like, not going to do it. So,
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's on his throwing shoulder, so maybe they're kind of being safer about him since they did give him $230 million.
I think Baker regrets that they weren't safer with him, so.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I remember the play he got hurt a couple weeks ago. He did take a direct hit on that shoulder. You kind of saw it ooh, that did not look that good. I think now they're kind of maybe just playing it safer, or maybe he's just playing it safe. But the Browns fans still think they have a chance this week. So I don't know.
Yeah, here's the other thing. And being a 49ers fan, on one hand, you're like, what the is wrong with these people? But on the other hand, what are you supposed to do? Just walk into the week and be like, hey, we're going to get blown out this week, guys. Get the beer ready. Who wants some Bud Light?
Yeah. Well, I've seen some that are like, listen, this game's going to be bad. Like, and then there's others like, if they can pull it off, though, it's like, dude, they're not. They have PJ Walker back there, which hey,
Yeah.
I like PJ. He competed in the Bears during the training camp here and lost the backup spot. He's a good-ish backup. You're not going to beat the best team in football with a good-ish backup.
Let's add a little drama to the game. I believe there's a 50% chance of rain throughout the game, which can make the ball wet, a little bit slippery. Maybe the pass game isn't as good for San Francisco as it's been. The ball is sliding out of guys' hands. The Browns do have one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. Last week, Christian McCaffrey was held to 2.7 yards per carry. So maybe the Browns are able to bottle up that run game for the 49ers. They have to rely on the pass game a little more than they would like in that wet weather. Browns get a lucky bounce here or there. Ball goes into the air. They take it to the house.
Listen,
it's not.
I respect you being humble, okay? But I still don't see it. I still don't see it. They have the 49ers have one of the best, running backs back there. Their offense,
Yeah.
Kyle will, spish some fucking shit up.
Yeah.
I will be disappointed in the Niners if they don't cover that 9-point spread. Like that's the only thing. That's the only thing I'm saying right now.
They need to cover this in spread, or else it's a failure.
Yes, I need to win my fucking money.
I do expect the Niners to come out on top, but look what happened with the Bears last year, week 1 in that monsoon they played in Chicago.
Well, it's also week 1. I mean, for the Trey Lance truthers out there, I'm sorry, but Trey Lance was like playing. He was younger and stuff like that, and I can't really say younger because Brock Purdy's younger, but I think you get what I'm trying to put down here is Purdy's on a whole different level than Lance is. So there's a lot of other factors there.
Yeah. Again, it could be a fun game, but either way, it more likely is going to be
it's going to be a really fun game. I got 2 bets going on for the Niners, so it's going to be a real fun game.
Jesus. All right, moving on. The Denver Broncos, going back to them and that fire sale. They have now cut Frank Clark, the defensive end, and he is expected to sign with the Chiefs for the league minimum, according to Ian Rappaport. I don't know if at the time of this recording if these already signed, but I know the initial report was that the expectation was that he was going to sign upon his release with the Chiefs. So
I don't know either.
Richard up over there in Kansas City.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising, but I guess not. I mean, like, why are they getting rid of their edge rushers? That's my first thought.
I think they got some younger guys like Nick Bonito out of Oklahoma. I think they're trying to get guys like that, maybe more playtime. If the season's already kind of lost, I think they're 1-4, 1-5 now.
They're 1-5 now.
Yeah, and you got the Chiefs in your division who are 5-1. So maybe they're looking at this just isn't going to work out. We might as well start, getting our young guys some experience, see what we got here before we go into the draft with a high pick. Because it's not like they could take a quarterback, so you might as well see what you got at the spots. Alrighty, so Justin Jefferson is headed to the IR with a hamstring injury, so he'll miss at least the next 4 games for the Minnesota Vikings. Is this Jordan Addison's time to shine? He was a first-round pick for him this year out of USC. B, what do you think? Is he a good waiver wire pickup?
He's definitely a good waiver wire. Yeah, I stashed him, so I drafted him in the 9th or 10th round in my league, and I just been just stashing them. I also have Christian Kirk as my flex right now, so I don't know. I'm still teetering if I want to play Jordan this week or Kirk. I know that Jordan is probably the smarter play because he's now the wide receiver 1, and then they're playing the Bears defense, which is you might as well have no defense out there if you're the Bears because the defense just sucks. So I might, but definitely in the leading weeks, definitely get him right now. If you don't have him right now, if he's still available in your league, go get him. Vikings love to throw the ball. He's going to be wide receiver 1 for them. The volume and targets are going to be there. Now, I don't know what the impact of losing Jefferson will do because obviously Jefferson took a lot of effort and a lot of eyes on him, right? So, I think Addison would arguably be a little bit more effective with Jefferson in there because you just have that influence of Jefferson, and you can use Addison as that deep threat guy, which he was for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then they haven't really been throwing him the ball. Yeah, that definitely get him. It also sucks that Jefferson's out, dude. I saw Schefter say he might be out 6 weeks, which is
Mm,
awful because he was on pace for like close to 2,000 yards,
yeah, he was
and think over
basically.
10 touchdowns too. So he was just going off, and it sucks for just as like a football fan to have him out because like he's probably wide receiver one of the entire league right now.
Yeah, he's absolutely a
That
fun
sucks.
guy. And thankfully it's not anything where it's like, hey, he needs surgery on this, or hey, this is a permanent injury, or something like that. I mean, it's a hamstring. They're more naggy and irritating.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever had a
agreed.
hamstring injury, but they kind of nag at you a while, so you're always paranoid to come back. But thankfully, like I said, it's nothing super serious. It just takes a few weeks to heal.
Yeah,
My only concern with Addison, because I did add him, he wasn't a free agent. Is KJ Osborne. I mean, I think after Jefferson went down last week, they ended up going to Osborne a lot more than they did with Addison.
Jordan. Mm.
Yeah, so that would be my only concern about that. But I did pick him up. I have him on my bench right now, so we'll see. I'm taking a wait and see approach with that. But yeah, it
Yeah,
does
that's
absolutely suck
smart.
to lose Jefferson. Keeping it on the Vikings is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins says he will not waive his no trade clause and he will stay in Minnesota for the rest of the year. We won't need to talk about this too much because we do have a segment coming up about this. But what do you think? Quick thought. What do you think? Right move, wrong move?
Yeah, I know we'll get into it. I think for him it's personally a right move. He probably was like, I don't want to go right now, and I know we'll get into it, but I actually respect the fact that he came out and like said that too. Like he didn't let that rumor or drama like just kind of hang around the team. He kind of was like, hey, listen, we're not doing that. We're not making any trade. Let's just move on and just like play. So I know we'll get into it. I don't want to say any more, but yeah, I respect the fact that he just kind of came out and said, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah, perfect. All right, I will save my thoughts for the segment because if I start, I won't stop. All right, so that's our news of the week segment. Let's get us next into our games. I don't remember. It feels like last weekend was so long ago. What teams did we even pick? I think I went 1-2. I feel like I vaguely remember that. I think
I
you went
think
2-1.
I think we went 2-1. Um, in my like notepad, it's far away because I wrote it down, but I think we
Yeah,
went 2 for 1. I mean, I guess I can go like grab it real quick. Let me see real quick.
no, you're good. I think
Okay.
there was one. We picked two games the exact same, and then one was opposite. And I think that was the one you won, and then the other two were right. So I think I think you went. Yeah, I think you went 2-1. I think 1-2. So
Yeah.
I don't think a good week for me. I vaguely remember that, thinking, damn it, I should have gone the other way. I think, oh God, who was it now?
Here,
It's gonna bother me.
I'm gonna grab it. Hold
Okay,
on.
yeah, it's gonna bother me.
All right, I think we picked 4 games last week.
Oh,
It
did we?
was
Okay,
the Bills Jags in London last week.
okay. Damn it, I remember that.
We both picked the Bills, and then Rams Eagles. I picked Eagles. You picked Rams, and then we both picked the Niners, and
Yeah.
then we both picked the Texans, and they lost late. So
So
she did not do good.
I went 1 for 3. You went what? 2 for 2.
Um, Bills Rams. So yeah, you went 1 for 3, and then I went two for 2. Yep.
I knew it. I remember we were having that discussion too. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of leaning Jags. They've been there for a week. They're used to that time gap change. They're fine. The Bills are coming in last minute. And
I
I was like,
actually
you know
didn't.
what? I'm gonna stick with the Bills. Sure as shit, they came in late. They looked off. They never recovered. Jags from way early. God damn it.
I'm actually mad at myself because if I did my job right, I would have did more like research. I didn't realize the Bills flew in late. I just thought
Yeah.
that like they've been there for like 5 days. Because in my mind, I'm like, if I was a coach, we'll fly in like Monday or something,
Oh yeah.
right? And like, but I think they flew in like I think they landed like Friday or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it takes like 3 days. You have like, you know what I mean? Like you have to adjust to that time change and whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't realize if they flew in late. If I knew that, I'm like, oh, dude, Jax, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. And they got fucking mollywopped.
Yep. I mean, that's what happens. It's a 6-hour time difference. I mean, it happens to West Coast teams when they go play on the East Coast. In fact, the 49ers about 4 or 5 years ago said, fuck this, and they started renting out a place in Virginia. So whenever they play an East Coast team, they just go stay there the entire time, the entire trip until they come back. Because they're like, we're not going to keep getting caught by this time change.
Yeah, smart. All right, before we dig into it, let me go grab my pen. I forgot my pen over there. I'm gonna write down our choices.
While you're doing that, I'll keep talking for me. Keep everyone distracted.
All right.
Oh, that was good.
All right, we are ready. We're ready now, finally.
Okay, perfect. So games of the week that we're going to cover, we're going to do Cowboys Chargers, which is I believe the Monday Night Football game.
Yes.
We're going to be doing the Lions Bucks, which is I believe an afternoon game today. No, morning game today.
And it's in
and then the
Tampa
Seahawks
Bay.
Bengals.
Yep.
So, all right, let's go with the first one. Monday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys will be taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Cowboys just got embarrassed last week while playing the Niners. The game's going to be in L.A. Dallas is favored by 1.5. And ESPN is giving the Chargers a 55.5% chance of a win. B, who are you taking? Who are you taking?
I'm taking Chargers, only because I don't know. I just lost all confidence in like the Cowboys. Like it's just like one of those like feels. Like I just don't. They looked so bad last week, and I guess you can make the counterpoint. Like they looked so bad, so this week they come out and they come out firing. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, give me the Chargers, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go opposite here. I'm going to go with that initial thought that you just had there of, good teams, good, proud teams bounce back. When they get embarrassed that next week, they always come back strong. They always come back and redeem themselves. I know it's in LA, but LA the fan base doesn't seem to really show up for their teams. And I think you're probably going to see a whole lot of navy blue there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of Cowboys colors. It's going to feel like a home game for them. Yeah, like I said, proud teams usually bounce back. They're going to be locked in. They're going to be focused this week. They're going to be trying to redeem themselves. They're not going to have a poor, pitiful me attitude. So yeah, give me the Cowboys in this one.
There we go.
So next is on to Motor City versus Tampa Bay. The Lions are coming in to face the Buccaneers. And the game will be in Tampa. The Lions are favored by 3. And ESPN is giving the Lions a 55% chance of a win. Who are you taking?
Give me Lions. They've been on a tear so far. I mean, the Bucs have exceeded expectations. I think they've been playing well, but the Lions, I feel like they're a top 3 team in at least the NFC right now. I think they're rolling. I think they're going to go down to Tampa Bay and kind of just like handle business there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Dan Campbell seems to have those dudes locked in every week. They don't seem like they're primed for a trap game at all. And the Lions' defense has been phenomenal. The offense has been spectacular. The only concern I would have with the Lions is Sam Laporta is questionable to play with a calf injury. And, oh my God, how do you say it? St. Brown, I believe, is also actually out for that game.
Mm.
And I think Gibbs is injured as well. So they're going to have...
Yeah, Gibbs is injured. I think Gibbs is out too, maybe.
Yeah, Gibbs is out. So they're going to have to rely heavily on Montgomery, which I am aware they normally do anyway. And they're going to have to rely on Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
So
from my standpoint, I just hope that defense is kind of, especially their front 4 with like Hutch there, like they got to get after Baker. If you let Baker get into like some sort of rhythm and don't get pressure on him, Mike Evans might eat today. Godwin might eat today. So, yeah, and I don't trust the Bucs like rushing offense either. I feel like the Lions front 7 can kind of lock that down kind of fairly.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'll stick with my pick of the Lions again because I don't know. I think Laporta is a true game time decision, so it's tough for us to sit here and do that now.
That'll be a tough knock if he can't go.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, I would then, if we were doing this up to game time, I would switch to probably the Bucs. But with the information we have now, I'm going to take the Lions. But I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. And hopefully the Bucs are able to, put the rest of the league on notice a little bit of, hey, we are here, we're real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've had a real good season for them so far down in Tampa.
Yeah.
Moving on to our last game, we're looking at the Seattle Seahawks versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The game's going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Bengals are favored by 3, and ESPN has given the Seahawks a 53% chance of taking the win. B, final game. Give me your thoughts.
This one is hard for me to pick, honestly. I went back and forth probably like 4 times. I'm gonna go with the home team here. Give me the Bengals. I feel like in my heart, I think the Seahawks will win, but my head is like, this is kind of when the Bengals start getting a little bit hot. The past couple of seasons, they start off slow, and in October they kind of start hit their stride. Last week looked like Burrow and Chase. They threw the Chase like 19 times. Like they're just like, listen, we're going to get this offense rolling. I am concerned about the Bengals' rush defense. I think they're giving up like 150 yards a game rushing or something like that.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks and Walker the third will probably eat on offense, but I'm just like, you know what, give me the Bengals, man.
Damn. I was gonna say Bengals because I hate the Seahawks and their fan base seems primed for a humbling. But every time we pick the same amount of games together, it doesn't go well. And you know what? The Seahawks have been prone to disappoint me. So I'm going to take the Seahawks.
There we go.
Begrudgingly take the Seahawks. The ESPN has given them a 53% chance to win. I do think the Bengals have turned a corner last week against Arizona, and targeting Jamar Chase 19 times is the right thing to do. You have a great receiver. They've already been a little bit chippy. DK Metcalf came out and threw the rookie Witherspoon out of the bus and said he's going to lock down Jamar Chase.
Which is an awful thing to do. Don't speak for another man. He probably was like, bro, what the hell?
You be in the locker room, you're a rookie. You're like, all right, I just had my first great game. I'm feeling good. Who's next in the schedule? Damn, Jamar Chase. All right, I got to lock in. Let me get watching this film right now. Let me keep my mouth shut. Let me just watch this. DK Metcalf says that Witherspoon's going to lock down Chase. What the fuck he said?
You're like, bro, what the hell? For real, man.
Like what the fuck? Yeah. I got a party and someone just going around telling people about you. Hey, man, that guy was hitting on your girl. And you just look up like, what the fuck? I've been in the corner.
Yeah.
I didn't say hi to nobody. I just came here, sat down, grabbed some pretzels. What the fuck is going on with this?
Yeah, man. Don't ever speak for another dude, especially when you don't play the same side of the damn football. Like, why is DK talking about him, man? Like, what the hell are you doing, DK?
Like, this my homie's gonna fuck this dude up. Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Which I want is Spoon even gonna like follow him, Chase? Because they have what's his name? Like Woolen or what's his name? Yeah, he's good too. So I'm like, I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't think they're going to. And to be fair about it, Witherspoon seemed to have a good sense of humor about it. So Jamar Chase, like, it hasn't been like an actual like shit talking about it. They've been kind of joking with each other. So
yeah,
like I said, it'll be a fun game to watch. It'll be close. This I think will be a determining game for the Bengals. If the Bengals win this game, and again, I know it's in Cincinnati. I know they're favored by 3, but the home team normally gets 3 points anyway. If the Bengals can beat the Seahawks, I think it really is a testament. Or it really shows that they've turned the corner for the season, and we're going to see the Bengals we've known the past couple of years. If they lose this game, I think their season starts to look a little bit more rocky.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, give me the Seahawks in this one, just because I know they always disappoint me. Every time I think, they're going to lose this game, they always pull it out.
Yeah. I see what happens. I mean, I won't be surprised if Seahawks win. I think I'm just giving the Bengals the benefit of like the doubt here. Maybe because previous seasons and like obviously they made deep playoff runs and whatnot. So I'm like, maybe they'll finally turn that corner now, even though they struggled so far.
Yeah,
but I won't be surprised.
Yeah, I think last year I think I'm slightly remembering this wrong. So Bengals fans, tune in, let me know where I'm wrong on this. But I think the Bengals went 0-4 last year or something like that. They had a terrible record to start the year. Then they like just ripped off 8 or 9 straight wins. So they've actually been like 1 or 3, then ripped off 8 or 9 straight wins.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're prone to usually starting a little slow and then turning a corner and figuring it out. So maybe that's what the situation is here. But again, I think this is going to be a great moment to look back and go, oh yeah, remember that Seahawks-Bengals game? That's where the Bengals really figured it out, turned around. Or maybe this is the time we see that the Seahawks are legit. So I got Cowboys, you got Chargers. We both are taking the Lions, and then I'm taking Seahawks. You're taking Bengals. Let's see if I can't get back to my winning ways. Let's see if you can continue to stay hot.
Boom.
I know you went 500 last year, but I don't think you've had a losing week the past 3 weeks. So
there we go. See what happens, man.
All right, guys. If you have been with us for this portion, for the news of the week, or our picks, because you like making money, and that's what we do around here, we make money. Thank you for watching. We will see you guys next week. For those of you that are staying with us for our segments, we do 2 segments every week. We record them on the pod. Then later in the week, we'll break them up. We'll release them out to the week as well, to YouTube as well. So if you want to get it first, you can get it here. So going to the first one. I know we had a couple ideas written down initially. We're making a switch midway through, so bear with us on this. But we saw a tweet that was referencing some NFL scouts believe Drake Maye should actually be the number 1 quarterback in this draft, the quarterback from UNC, University of North Carolina. And we mentioned that this felt a little bit like a Mitchell Trubisky situation all over again. So, fans were not too enthused with our opinion on that. And apparently we were too vague. Apparently we were helmet scouting. Apparently we didn't know our shit. We don't know ball. People attacked our families. No, I'm just kidding.
I got death threats.
Yeah, no, I don't know how they got our address. It was weird. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. What was worse is they got the wrong address. It was close, but it was just really weird. Anyway, no. So we thought it might be interesting to take that conversation to the podcast. So give me your thoughts. Is this another Mitchell Trubisky situation? Is Drake Maye going to be the next Trubisky? And tell me what you think here about this.
I feel like no. I feel like Drake Maye is a better prospect than Mitch. So I think he has more like talent, right? But would it be very ironic if somehow Drake Maye is the first quarterback off the board in 2024? Yes. Just like how Watson was better than Mitch, but Deshaun Watson was like the second quarterback off the board. Bears took Mitch first, or I guess second overall, but first quarterback off the board. But do I think Drake Maye would have a better career than Mitch? Yes. I think he has way more experience. I think he has better talent. So do I think that they're the same skill level? No. But would it be funny if Drake Maye's first quarterback off the board in 2024? Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. God, where do I want to start with this? Just keep it very on point here. Do I think Mitchell Trubisky and Drake Maye are the same prospect? No. From my understanding, and I want to put it as that because I have not gone and watched his film. To be fair, I haven't even watched most of his games. He doesn't pop up on my channels at all. And they never play one that interests me enough to go, oh, let me just tune into this UNC South, Northern, Western Carolina game. So I haven't watched much of him, but my understanding is that he's a really good prospect and should be better than Mitchell Trubisky. And the comment was more about what B touched on of, hey, wouldn't it be super funny and ironic if there was this clear number 1 great quarterback that's super athletic, big arm, was supposed to be like the top quarterback taken all year. And instead, this guy from North Carolina got drafted before him. To add a little extra layer of irony too, it'd be first quarterback should be taken as a black guy and end up being a white guy. Yeah. And Caleb Williams should be taken as the first quarterback, and instead this white guy from North Carolina got taken. Again, so many layers and levels of irony and hilarity and whatever else.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny just because I haven't seen anything about Drake Maye. I haven't heard anything about Drake Maye. I don't know. I have no idea what UNC's record is. I don't know if they're ranked, to be honest.
They are ranked. Yeah, but
okay, good. I was gonna say if we're talking about this and not ranked, this is ridiculous. But I mean, there's just nothing coming out about it. There's no highlight plays. And from my understanding, actually, initially he was struggling the first few weeks, and then I think it was Tez Walker. No, because he just played his first game this week, I believe. Some receiver came back, and since then he started looking much better, and his throws have been much better.
It was Walker. He went for 6 for 132 with 3 tutties
Yesterday?
Yeah. So
Oh,
that was Walker, and then Drake Maye went 17 for 33 for 273 and 4 tutties. No picks. They were ranked 12th. They beat Miami
so
41-31.
he threw for 274 yards, and 134 of that went to Tez Walker.
Yep. So he threw for 273, 132 went to Tez Walker. Correct.
See, that raises questions for me. Like, is it Drake Maye that's great, or is it Tez Walker that's great? And again, I don't have an answer for that. We will dive into his film and look and see what we think. But off the top right now, I haven't really seen him play to know that he's good enough to even be the number 2. In fact, it seems like in a lot of quarterback rankings this year, he's slipped and barely even gets mentioned in the top 10. Normally, it's like Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., obviously the Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders. It just seems like he's out of sight, out of mind right now.
Yeah.
So again, I still think it would be pretty freaking hilarious if
It would be funny
whoever.
as hell.
Yeah, especially, oh my God, could you imagine if it was the fucking Bears? The Bears tank the rest of the year. They get the number 1 overall pick. It's Caleb Williams. Pound the table. It's Caleb.
It has to be
And
Caleb.
So overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Bears select Drake Maye, quarterback, North Carolina. Oh, that would be so fucking funny. So sad.
It would be a conversation if Caleb keeps throwing you can't throw 3 picks a game, dude. Especially a big game like that. Like line lies on you, prime time. Throwing 3 picks, and those picks were bad too. Now, one of them was tipped, but even the choice to throw it, dude had 3 guys around him still. He had someone open the right side. I know you and I were texting about that play. If he would have stepped up in the pocket and threw it to the right, the guy was wide open. So if he keeps throwing multiple picks a game, then sure. Let's have that talk.
Yeah, but again, for right now, let's keep it in context. And we have our concerns about Caleb Williams, but no prospect is perfect. It doesn't exist. And maybe it should make us pump the brakes on the generational talk. But again, let's call it as it is. It's one game. There's no other game he's had 3 picks. There's no other games he's looked that bad. It could be a one-off. It could be a matter of him knowing his defense sucks and trying to play hero ball and forcing things that don't exist and, coming away like that. So again, to sit here and I don't. If a team went and took Drake Maye and said, "Oh yeah, we took him because Caleb Williams had 3 picks against Notre Dame," I think they'd be fired the next day. I don't think they'd be able to ever see Drake Maye play while being with that organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, so that's again, to me, it would still be ironic. It would still feel like a Trubisky situation. And the funniest comment to me that I think we got, just I know it confused the hell out of you, and I was reading and I was confused. So we had to have another person explain to us what the fuck this person was thinking. Was someone thought we were comparing it to a Myles Garrett situation?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, all of a sudden I was like, how is this anything like Myles Garrett? And I was like, who the fuck brought up Myles Garrett?
Yeah, and to be for guys, if you guys are watching this, any Tar Heels fans watching this, to be 100% clear, we're not saying Drake Maye is the same skill level and could be a bust like Mitch. We're saying it'll be funny if Drake Maye is the first quarterback off the board when there's clearly another guy as of right now who should be the first quarterback off the board. Kind of like how Mitch was the first quarterback drafted back in 2017 when he should not have been.
Exactly, and that's exactly what the comment was a reference to. Again, it's just wild to me how out of context it got taken.
I don't know what people are thinking. They're like, that's not obvious at all. I'm like, unless you're 12, everyone knows what the fuck we're talking about here.
And I'll take it a little level further to calm any Tar Heel fans that may watch this or may see this pop up as a short or whatever. I don't even know Drake Maye well enough to sit here and determine, hey, he may be the number 1 overall quarterback in the draft. And we really don't know. We usually spend our time breaking down the draft picks a little more in the offseason when we have more time. But again, for all we know, he could be the number 1 quarterback talent. It still would be absolutely hilarious if for years we've been hearing about this guy. Like we heard about Deshaun Watson. And then for finally come time to get drafted, and another team takes a UNC quarterback over the clear number 1 quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
So
that would be funny.
would it still be a Trubisky situation? Let me ask you this real quick before we wrap this segment up. Would it still be a Trubisky situation if, let's take an example, it's Bears Cardinals, right? Top 2 picks. Bears draft Drake Maye. Cardinals take Caleb Williams. If Drake Maye goes on to have a good career, he's a Pro Bowler, he's a starter, he's solid, he's generally a consensus of a top 15 quarterback within the league. But Caleb Williams goes on to win multiple Super Bowls and is considered a top 5 quarterback. Is it still a Trubisky situation to you?
Yes. Yes. Because if one guy goes off and wins tons of like titles and another guy's good, right, but still not winning titles, yes. Yeah. Because exactly what happened. I mean, Trubisky was just like a bust or whatever, but Mahomes went off and win titles, right? So like, I want the guy. Yeah, but I get it. Mahomes wasn't part of that conversation. He kind of was like a sleeper pick, whatever. Yeah. He kind of exceeded whatever. But yeah, if the Bears pass up on a quarterback who goes off and wins titles, yeah, I'm gonna be pissed. Yeah. Even if Drake Maye is like top 10, top 15.
Well, and again, I think people kind of forget because 2017 is kind of a while ago at this point. The conversation wasn't even about Mahomes.
Yeah.
It was who should go first. If I remember this conversation correctly, it was Lamar or Watson, because Lamar, the Louisville Clemson game, was such a spectacular showing to watch. I think it was like the final score like 40-something to 50-something on the last second play. Both quarterbacks are going back and forth, making great plays. Lamar had a Heisman. Watson ended up winning a Heisman. So I thought the conversation at the time for the first quarterback taken was between Lamar and Watson. And then for Mitchell Trubisky to be taken first was so funny and so out of pocket. And obviously Drake Maye has an entire another year of starts, better arm talent. I won't go too much for the next game. I don't want to start saying something and I have to walk it back later. But yeah, so to me, again, it does still feel like a Trubisky situation. And for anyone that didn't get that, read a book. Go read something. I don't know what to tell you. It seemed pretty clear and obvious to us.
Yeah.
And to the guy that got Myles Garrett out of that situation,
I don't.
Please, because you're critical.
And then the same guy followed up with like, well, at least Mitchell wasn't a rapist. I'm like, well, that is true. Like, but that's not what we're talking about here.
They were in 2017. Oh, like, oh, hey, this guy loves massages. That's kind of weird. In 2017, like now. Well,
my God.
Would you go back and draft OJ in the first round with what you know now? Probably not. He probably falls in seconds.
Let's just move on, bro, because we can talk about this forever. But it was so like out of left field. Like, oh, yeah, you're right. Indeed, he's not.
But let's turn this over to our viewers because they are spectacular. You guys tell us in the comment section, do you think if Drake Maye was drafted first before Caleb Williams, it would feel like a Trubisky situation to you? Let us know what you think. While you're down there, why don't you give us a like, subscribe, comment, turn on the bell for notifications. And until next time, I've been Emmett, this has been B. We're the RFL show, guys. All right, bye. And if you are sticking around with us for our next segment or you're watching the podcast in full, again, we really appreciate you guys. We know how long a time consuming this can be. If you're doing this in the background while you're cleaning or something, you missed a spot. But we're going to move on to our last segment. We know we said we were going to talk about this a little bit more in depth earlier. But Kirk Cousins has announced that he will not waive his no-trade clause for anybody and that he will be finishing out the year in Minnesota, which I kind of call a little bit of bullshit on, but we'll see. You guys tell us, we'll start with that. You guys tell us, head to the comment section, tell us what you think. Is that a good idea for Kirk? Is it a bad idea? Would you do that? Tell us what you think about it. But right now, we're going to dive into it. You touched on it, start touching on it a little bit earlier, but do you think this is the right move by Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I mean, long term, I guess it's kind of whatever. It's kind of tough to answer because, like, go into a team. We all know he's leaving the Vikings after this season. I think that's kind of safe to say. I can't say for sure, but probably a 65% chance. Would it be beneficial for him to get traded to a team that will end up signing him to maybe a 2 to 3 year deal, getting his feet wet with the offense now, so then like next year you can kind of hit the ground running? Yes. But this isn't Madden. I mean, the likelihood of that happening probably slim. I guess it it all depends where his mind is at, right? If he wants to finish out the season with the Vikings just to because he's loyal to team and whatnot, sure. If he want to get a head start for next year and go, ring chasing, and since he's kind of in the back half of his career now, not I don't know how many more seasons he'll play. Because we want to get a head start with this new team and get the like I said, get the guy on the ground and start running for next season. I can see the pros of that too. I'll leave it at that. I see why he doesn't want to get traded, but I can see the pros of why he would want to. What are your thoughts on it?
So I just want to clarify. So your thoughts are he's making the right decision by not waiving the trade clause and staying in Minnesota, correct?
That's what I'm kind of like. Yes, because in my mind, it's kind of like indifferent. The Viking season is kind of over. Whatever team trades for him, more than likely their season's also over too. So kind of like, so you could get traded now, right, and get a head start with your new team. So the next year, you guys can go boom, full throttle. You would have a whole half of a season plus an off season. You gotta get things underway and learn that system. Are you going to win games this year if you get traded? No, because you're still going to be traded to a team that's also playing poorly. So it's kind of like whatever in my own mind.
So, okay, we got that one. So I'm going to, in a way, I know you're indifferent about it, but I am going to disagree with a lot of the sentiment of what you're saying, because this is how I think about it. If I'm an NFL GM, and again, obviously Kirk Cousins is going to know his market better than I ever will, and his agent's going to know his market better than I ever will. But if I was an NFL GM, I would not touch Kirk Cousins with a 10-foot pole. And it's not because I don't think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I do think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. But what has he done in the entirety of his career? He's never won. He can't win big games is the stigma to him. It's the thing that's attached. He can't win them. He can't win primetime games. He can't win big games. He just can't do it. And he's going to be 36 next year. And I know we've kind of talked off camera about maybe Atlanta, maybe here, maybe New England. But why? Why would you pay him any money at all? He's going to want another big contract for a guy that clearly doesn't move the needle. He's been in Minnesota since 2018. And we got some comments about this, about, bad O-line, no weapons, whatever. The defense sucks. But when he got there in 2018, that was not the case for Minnesota. They had just reached the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum. They had Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph on the offense. They had a decent O-line. Their defense was stacked with Harrison Smith and Eric Kendricks, and I think Danielle Hunter was still there. Zadarius Smith, I think, was still there, if I'm remembering those correctly. They may not have been. But the general consensus is they had a great team, and that Kirk Cousins coming in was going to get them over the top, and hey, the Vikings could win a Super Bowl. And he ended up getting them to the playoffs twice in 5 years. And he only won one playoff game the entire time he's there. So again, if I'm a team, if I'm the Falcons, if I'm the Patriots, why would I ever give Kirk Cousins that money? Because he's not worth it. He clearly isn't a guy that moves the needle. So I think Kirk Cousins should do the trade, should make a trade. And again, to me, I know we've made a video about this, and I stand by it still, to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. Okay, and what if he does? He's played 1 minute and 30 seconds with this team. You're going to throw that into a playoff situation? You're going to try to learn the chemistry of everything on the fly? There's no way in hell. There's no way he's coming back this year. At least if you bring Kirk Cousins in, and I reference it to the Jimmy Garoppolo situation in 2017 when he was traded to the Niners. He went to San Francisco, and it took about, I think, 3 weeks, and Kyle Shanahan has the most extensive playbook in the NFL, and it's to a guy that had really never been a starter. Went there, learned it for 3 weeks, took over, and they ended up winning 5 straight games, finishing the season 6-10. Same thing with the Jets. As long as they can stay relevant right now. If he gets there, it takes 2 weeks to learn it because it's a system he's played in before. He's been in the league long enough. He can get the verbiage down pretty quick. They could rack off a bunch of wins and still make it in as a wild card team. Again, now that solidifies Kirk Cousins' reputation, or I'm sorry, not solidifies, it changes his reputation of, hey, this is a guy that can win games. This is a guy that can get you to the playoffs and take it deep. it now would give me as a GM a reason to pay Kirk Cousins. Hey, look what he did with New York last year. This guy's clearly got it. I was wrong about him before. Let me get him in the building now. Let me pay him what he wants now. But as of right now, why the fuck would I ever pay Kirk Cousins anything? I mean,
true.
He has no success to show.
So you believe a GM of a team would not touch him, but it would benefit Kirk to get traded. So like from Kirk's point of view, he should want to be traded, but then there mightn't be any demand for him.
So I'm saying right now there would be demand. I think the Jets, they've checked in, they have a demand. I think if Kirk stays the season in Minnesota and reaches free agency, I wouldn't touch him with the 10-foot pole.
So he would be more of like a bridge player then to that point, like a team, kind of like how like the Bears signed, what was his name, Mike Glennon when they drafted Mitch, just to kind of be like the bridge player until Mitch was ready to play back in 2017.
Like that, the Jimmy Garoppolo deal. Hey, it's something where we can look like we're competitive for a year while we have this rookie learn the playbook. Yeah. That's the only thing I would touch Kirk Cousins with at that point, because again, what has he done? And so at the time, I think under the initial comment or initial report out of Ian Rappaport, I kind of mentioned, I was like, it's very sad to see, but it clearly shows where Kirk Cousins' priorities lie. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I think that's very true. I think if you look at Kirk Cousins' career, it's never been about wins. He doesn't care about that kind of stuff. He cares enough to be competitive and play football, but he's not a Tom Brady driven for championships. He wants the biggest paycheck he can get. That's why he's stayed in Washington as long as he did. That's why he didn't go. He went to Minnesota because they were offering him a fully guaranteed contract. That's why he stayed in Minnesota for a second contract, even though they had no success. That's why he's not waiving his no trade clause. He wants to get as much. It's about the money for him. This is a job. He's happy to do it. He likes doing it, but it's a job. And I don't think there's anything wrong. But I think to me, that reflects in a way of I would never touch him. Like what? I would again. I just keep saying that, but it's just mind-boggling to me. Like if I'm his agent, I'm calling him right now. I'll be like, Kirk, you're going to accept a trade, and you're going to waive that no trade clause because you have no market. Yeah, like you're not going to get a fully guaranteed $40 million a year contract if you hit free agency right now. You're 36. Yeah, you've never won a playoff game. Why would I mean? Again, I think about. I mean, I can't think of a situation you can just plug and play Kirk Cousins in, and he'd be better. Come next season, because next season you have this draft that has 13 great quarterback prospects, and it's the deepest quarterback draft of all time, and this and that. Again, why would any team, if you need a quarterback, why would you risk it paying Kirk Cousins when you can get a Sam Hartman in the 4th round? Yeah. 10 years younger, probably just about as good.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I would just add more on, but I know we're kind of at time here. I feel like this would be an ongoing conversation about Kirk Cousins. I'm sure this won't be the only time we kind of just like talk about this, because what if on the flip side he goes off in like a tear the rest of the season, which was whatever, odds might be stacked against him, right? Because Jefferson's now out and whatever. But what if he just like the Vikings go on a little like run here and end up, I don't know, maybe like 500 this year, like a 9-8 record or whatever, right? Then we'll be having a talk like, does that change the perception around Cousins? Could a team sign him to a 2-year, 3-year deal? But I know that we're at time, but I'm sure the Viking fans hopefully will have a lot of thoughts on this. And please comment too. Like if you're like, no, you guys are stupid. Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in the league. Tell us.
Yeah. I just want to quickly address what you said, just in a very short sentence. He can go on a tear. He can throw for 6,000 yards this year. I wouldn't care. I still wouldn't touch him.
You just fucking hate him, huh? You hate his like his fashion. You hate his like. You probably didn't want to see him on that Netflix show. No,
I like his style. I think he's a very nice man. He plays a great husband, a great father, a great teammate. It's not anything against a Kirk. It's just about you're not winning the big games, and that's what the NFL is about. It's about winning the big games. So why would I?
That's fair.
Yeah, but again, we can divulge into that more, and as the season goes on and something changes, it's a great topic to revisit. Again, I think Kirk is a great person. He seems like a very nice dude. But yeah, you guys tell us what you think. Should Kirk do a trade, or is he making the right decision to stay in Minnesota for the year and then find a new place in the offseason? But let us know. Go to the comment section. Give us a like because we obviously bust our butt here with what we're doing, and we like to think we're funny sometimes and entertain people. Hit the subscribe button. Sometimes we piss them off, but it happens. Hit the subscribe button. We do this every week with segments coming out twice a week. But until next time, you guys can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. But I've been Emmett. This has been B. We will see you guys next time.